Good evening and welcome to the 11th episode of Breaking Barriers. Breaking Barriers is an initiative of Delhi Public School, Varanasi, Nasik, and Lava Nagpur. Breaking Barriers connects us with the parent and the student community. It fosters creativity and learning. Today, we've come together to celebrate National Doctors' Day. In India, we celebrate it on the 1st of July every year in honor of Bharat Ratna Dr. Bidhan Chandra Roy's birth and death anniversary. Dr. Roy was a renowned physician, a freedom fighter, and also the second Chief Minister of West Bengal. A doctor is someone's hope. He's someone's hope, and he is someone's hero. We have with us three distinguished, dedicated, and dauntless doctors. And today, we are here to celebrate the care and compassion that they embody. Dr. Jaya Chakravarti joins us from Banaras. Dr. Jaya Chakravarti, please. Dr. Jaya Chakravarti is Professor and Head Department of Medicine, IMS Banaras Hindu University. Dr. Chakravarti is the Nodal Officer, COVID-19, BHU, and the Director, Center of Excellence, HIV Care, BHU. We also have with us Dr. Satish Dev Pujari, Director, Shri Child Clinics, Dhantoli, Nagpur. He is also Professor Emeritus, Indira Gandhi Government Medical College, Nagpur. Director, Center of Excellence, Artificial Intelligence in Medicine and Applied Computing, DMIMS, Nagpur. Sir was the chairman of National Pediatric Intensive Chapter, India from 1998 to 2000. Sir is passionate about interdisciplinary research. Dr. Dev Pujari is currently working with IIT Mumbai on an advanced ventilator and with IIT Mumbai and Thermax on an oxygen helmet. Sir is also the creator of a unique software, AlgoMan, that is also available as an app. Our third panelist is Dr. Ashutosh Thole. He's the director of Janki Maternity Home, Nashik. Sir is a renowned obstetrician and gynecologist. He has been practicing for 15 years with the mission of providing unmatched and comprehensive care through strong service-oriented team. First and foremost, please allow me on behalf of our DPS family to wish you a very, very happy Doctor's Day. We are deeply honored and delighted to have you join our celebration. Thank you so much. We are really thankful that you've taken time out of your busy schedules and be with us here today. This pandemic has changed a lot of things for everyone. The common man today feels more helpless, more agitated, and if I may say so, a little angry. There's so much beyond comprehension. Dr. Chakravarti is the nodal officer at BHU and would be the right person to help us understand a few things. Madam, your area of expertise and research is infectious diseases. It's not that we haven't faced viruses before. We've had outbreaks of SARS, H1N1, Ebola, which are just as deadly. What is it that makes COVID-19 so different?
Well, we've had SARS. Now, the main thing about coronavirus is this is a new virus. This is exotic. We are not immune to it. So there's a whole large population which does not have immunity against this virus. The second problem, because we've never had this virus before, we don't have a vaccine. neither a treatment. Like in influenza, like the normal flu, you have a vaccine, you have treatment, so we are not worried. Here we do not have anything. So whatever we give, now we have certain drugs which has really come up in this short time, and I must congratulate the scientists who have done all this work. But nothing is 100% foolproof that that is going to cure you from coronavirus. So you don't have immunity, you don't have drugs, plus the transmissibility. That means how many persons you can infect. That is very high for coronavirus. Though they say it is around 2 to 2.5, there are certain studies which says that one person can infect around 5%. The other problem is it has a very long incubation period. Means if you get infected today, maybe you will show symptoms. The median is around 7 days. Sometimes you can show symptoms at day 13 or day 14. So incubation period is between day 2 to day 14. So if you do not know that you've been infected, you might go on infecting other people before you know, before you get symptoms also. So there is a pre-symptomatic phase also in which you can transmit the disease. Plus, because of this long incubation period, you may not quarantine yourself that long. People get frustrated. Why should I stay for 14 days? I did not get it in 7 days. So these are little problems with coronavirus, which we didn't have with other viruses.
Right, ma'am. Thank you. This brings us to my next question. You know, we have these missions, Vande Bharat, where our Indian citizens are being brought back from abroad, or even within the country, you are now able to travel. Now, in a situation where I have a family member coming back from, say, another city or even another country, what precautions do we need to take even if the person who's coming in is testing negative for the corona test?
Again, the same thing. If you're coming back from a high risk, a place where there is a lot of coronavirus transmission going on, you should quarantine yourself for 14 days. Okay. Even if you test negative when you come back, that is today, but the incubation period is high, that is 14 days. So you might get it in any of those 14 days. So the most important thing is quarantine yourself for 14 days. And if you really have no symptoms and you want to get tested, though government does not say you have to get tested, so that the 13th day will be the best day to test yourself actually. So if you are coming from abroad or from other places, like a lot of people came in Eastern UP, in Varanasi from Mumbai and Delhi, the best thing was to quarantine themselves. And if they had symptoms, test immediately. If they didn't have symptoms, it is not mandatory to test. But 14 days quarantine period was very, very important, and everybody should do it.
Right. So home quarantine is what you suggest.
Home quarantine, not facility. Yeah. Home quarantine. If you have the facility, home quarantine has a lot of, you have to have a single room with an attached bathroom, and you don't have to go out and use, preferably it's that, and you eat in your room. And whatever you do it in your room. That is home quarantine, not that you're talking to everybody and going out. Even if you go out, you should maintain a distance, wear a mask. That those things are very, very important, which people forget. And it's not easy to wear a mask every time 24/7. So it's not easy.
Right. So even within the house, it's not just you staying inside the house. Even inside the house, you need to limit all your movement to one room.
Definitely. If other people are there in the house who have not been exposed, and you are the one who's traveled and you have other family members, and especially if they're elderly, or especially if they have comorbidities like diabetes, hypertension, you have to stay separate from them, that you're not meeting them every time. And you should be away from children also. Children may not manifest anything. You might transmit the infect to the child. The child may not manifest anything, but that child may transmit it to the adult. So you have to restrict yourself to a room with a bathroom. And in case you have to go out, just outside the room for anything, you just have to wear a mask. And hand hygiene is very, very important.
Right, ma'am, right. Again, another situation, ma'am. Suppose there arises a situation where I am tested, not because I have symptoms, but because I had come in contact with someone who then tested positive later. Right. Now, in such a situation, what should I do?
Ma'am, can you just repeat the question? I
Yes,
just, my
yes.
internet went off.
Right. See, the situation is that because I came in contact with someone who has tested positive, I have been asked to undergo a test.
Okay.
Right. So what is the first thing I should do?
Asymptomatic. If you have been asked to test, that means you are an asymptomatic, a high risk. You've had high risk contact with a positive case. If somebody has told you to do that, you should go for it, definitely. But what is the best time? Again, the incubation period comes. Okay, the best time given by the government is day 5 to day 10 of exposure, the last exposure. Okay, so if I've met you today and you test positive today, and when should I get myself tested? The best day to get tested is between day 5 to day 10. But if you ask me as an infectious disease expert, I'll tell them, since you're going to be in quarantine for 14 days, do it at day 12 or 13 rather than day 10 or day 5.
Okay. Okay. So I don't go in for testing at all. I quarantine myself, and on say day 13 or 14 of the contact.
Not 14,
13, 12 or 13.
Yeah.
I get myself
12 or 13.
tested. Okay. Now, suppose I test positive, and then do I have to get myself admitted to a hospital or to one of the quarantine centers, or can I opt for home quarantine?
Every state it differs. Like in Uttar Pradesh, where I am from, you cannot have home quarantine. There's no facility. You have to have facility quarantine. If you are mild to moderate disease, there are certain L1 centers where you can go. And if you are sick or you're comorbid, then you go to a L2 center. And if you're very sick, then you go to a L3 center. That is for UP. But I don't think so. I think the people, other Dr. Ashutosh and Dr. Satish will agree that in Maharashtra, I think there's a facility for home quarantine and be the best person to, even in Delhi, they're home quarantine, but not in Uttar Pradesh. That differs from state to state, what the state has decided to do. So in Uttar Pradesh, everybody has to be in a facility.
Okay, okay. Would Dr. Thole or Dr. Satish Dev Pujari add to it? What needs to be done in Maharashtra? Dr. Pujari, Dev Pujari, will you please answer that?
So you need to
unmute.
Please unmute your mic.
So in Maharashtra, you need to quarantine yourself. Home quarantine is allowed.
Okay.
So if you're asymptomatic, you could be under close observation. Of course, as was told earlier, that home quarantine has its own rules. It does not mean that you are at home and you are celebrating your birthday. So that is not what is expected. You are closely observed, but home quarantine is available in Maharashtra.
All right. So I don't have to check in at a facility or a quarantine center?
No. The question is, you can be at home, right, and be in touch with the physician.
Right, right. So that I'm monitored regularly.
Absolutely.
Right, sir, right. Thank you. Dr. Thole, do you have anything to add to that, sir? Dr. Ashutosh Thole, please. Right, sir. Do you have anything to add to what I have just asked Dr. Chakravarti?
No, I think so, sir has elaborated on it.
Right, sir. Thank you. Thank you, madam. Madam, you have indeed helped us understand the situation better. And खुदा न खास्ता अगर ऐसी कभी आए मुझ पे वक्त तो I know what to do. Thank you. Thank you so much. Again, this brings me to the next part of the webinar. We are all being bombarded by all kinds of information on the social media, the television, there are videos, there are articles, there's so much advice, breaking news. It's really difficult to sift what is true, how much of it is authentic, what to believe, what to do. I now request Dr. Ashutosh Thole to bust a few myths over here. Dr. Thole, please. Sir, the first myth is to do with masks. Right.
Okay.
A friend of mine shared with me that when her husband was asked to join work, she did a big research on masks, what, the best mask, and every site she visited said that this was the best one. I mean, which guaranteed you lots of things. So my question is, what kind of masks does the common man need? When to wear the mask, how to wear the mask. When I go for my walk, I see chin masks. They're stuck on the ears, but they're down on the chins. So please enlighten us on masks. Dr. Thole? Dr. Tev Pujari, would you like to take that up? I think we've lost him.
Yeah. So this is a very important question. In fact, not wearing a mask is being masculine. So you know what? I'm not going to get COVID. No, nothing is going to happen to me. And in fact, just about like happening with us, uh, that a patient walks in.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. We'll
Okay.
get back to you, sir. Yes, Dr. Dev Pujari.
Yeah.
Please complete what you were
So,
saying.
so a lot of parents feel that no need, below 2 years you don't have to wear a mask. What is important is today is Doctor's Day. So please understand, if you're not wearing a mask and you're coming to me, all these years we were discussing of hospital acquired infection, and Dr. Jaya knows the whole topic very well, I'm sure, right? But now it is for us patient acquired infection. Okay, and please understand, this is very important. They get hurt. See, you are concerned about your child, about your family, right? But wear mask for ourselves and for yourself. And like again, there's a huge amount of things as to what to wear. But if you can't afford anything, a good 3-layered mask is also good enough. Of course, there are varieties of masks. There are people who are literally fooling people. Like the other day, I saw a mask which is so-called copper mask. That is the costliest mask available. It says that it is the mask is antiviral. It really says it that way. So if the viruses sit on the mask, the viruses will die. So when I went on the website, you'll be surprised. You're not allowed to enter into the website without accepting that whatever is said there is not proven. And this is told to you. And then you are, okay, so you can imagine that they make good claims. Maybe in our country, 500, 1 out of 500 goes on a website and checks. Okay. And this costs about 2,000 rupees.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So this is quite a fancy thing now. So, so I think you should check that and let Dr. Ashutosh take it over. But mask is absolute important, and the mask hygiene is important. People will mask, it is their nose is open.
Yes.
Then, they will scratch themselves like this. Okay. So your hands get infected. When you go home, you take out the mask and keep it anywhere. So your home gets infected. So mask could be good and could be bad if you don't follow the mask hygiene, which is extremely important. Extremely important. You'll be surprised. There are masks with you 2 circles there, and these are so-called exhalation valves. A lot of people feel they're filters. So like I work with a lot of so I have a strong this thing with physics and mathematics. So I do a lot of work with IITs. That is my hobby. Now these filters, they're not filters. One, there's a small little valve, which is the quality of that valve is so bad. Suppose if malfunctions, then you have 2 big holes and air is entering into your face through those holes. And why will it think of going through a mask? I mean, air will go through a path of least resistance. There are 2 big holes there. And you have paid 2,000 rupees for those 2 holes, which look very fancy. So interestingly, one goes to depth of all this, a lot of complexities exist in this, but at least wear a mask. That is extremely important. Yesterday, our respected Modi ji emphasized on this fact that you could be anyone, but wear and care
Yes.
for mask.
Right.
Both are equally important.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking up that question. Let me go back to Dr. Thole. Dr. Thole, yes, sir. So what kind of a mask should a common man wear? My husband works in an office. What kind of a mask should he wear and go to work?
As sir has rightly said, wearing a mask is important. So in a community setting, even a simple cotton mask will do, as long as he wears it properly and it is properly fitting.
Mhm.
And if you look at data, if it is a only a cotton mask, it is still giving you 40% protection. And if you add a simple layer of a chiffon or a silk to it in the front, it will add on to the protection, because it will create two layers, and one layer will add like an electrostatic uh, layer. Means sir can elaborate on that, because he has an interest in physics. He'll tell you more about it.
Right.
But from what I have read is that if you have a two-layer mask with one cotton and one chiffon, the protection level is very high. And most important, as sir said, it should be well fitting. That is more important. So all these N95 and all this is not required in the community setting. That is more for the health workers. And what sir rightly said about those uh, ventilation, they
Holes.
give those respirators, holes.
Yeah.
So we need to understand that we are wearing the mask not only for ourselves, but we are also wearing that others don't get infected because of it.
Because of
So
us.
that just defeats the whole purpose once you wear those with those holes. So it just doesn't make sense.
Right, sir, right. So more than the kind of mask you're wearing, it's the hygiene that is more important that you need to follow, isn't it? There was a small question here in the chat box which says that could masks choke small children?
Not really, but one thing is sure is that you should not wear it while you're exercising or doing some strenuous work. So not otherwise. Means they are not so tight that they're going to choke
So
the.
masks are not indicated below 2 years of age.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyways, they are not indicated.
Yeah. So though they will be unlikely to choke, but below 2 years of age, you are not supposed to wear.
Not supposed to wear a mask. And again, you don't wear a mask while you're exercising also.
Yes.
All right. So that answers my...
I don't think so. You should exercise in a gym. You exercise on your own without the mask.
Yes.
And another thing I want to add about mask is if you are ill in any form, cough or anything, you should wear a surgical mask and nothing less than that.
Yes.
Okay.
If you are ill, then you should wear a surgical mask.
Okay.
That will protect the other person, the doctors, healthcare workers, as well as your family members.
Right.
Other than that, you can wear any mask you want.
Right, right. So yes, if you have, yes, sir.
Just to add, means if you look at all the countries which have historically have a habit of wearing a mask, like Hong Kong or South Korea or Singapore, you see the number of people infected are also less. So if you see that, then you will understand what is the importance of
wearing a mask. Yes.
Yes.
So unless you are ill, you have a cough or a cold, you need not wear a surgical mask. A regular 3-layered mask made even cotton is good enough. And I understand what is more important is the hygiene, is to wear it properly and not touch here and there, or have chin masks instead of face masks. Wonderful, thank you. Another thing that is selling like hotcakes are hand sanitizers. Now there's a big debate on going on WhatsApp, hand sanitizers versus soap and water.
See, the thing is
your comments, please.
See, it's always soap and water is better. Means you don't compromise on that. But we can make an exception where your hands are not dirty. You can use a sanitizer where impractically it would be not possible to get the water and the soap. So otherwise, soap and water would be the best. And sanitizer, I'll give you a simple thing to remember. Once you take the sanitizer and after doing the whole exercising of applying it on your hands, at the end of it, if you're still left with the sanitizer on your hand, if your hands are still wet, that means you have taken some extra sanitizer, which was not needed. And if before completing the whole exercise your hands are dry, that means you have taken a little less. So,
Okay.
and the simple thing is how to apply a sanitizer. You can go on the WHO website. They have a good way of how to do it in simple steps. And those simple steps you follow.
Right.
So, even while hand washing as well as for the sanitizer, you use the same steps. They have simple 4-5 things and areas where you may not cover. So that is why they have given this.
Given, yes. The way they tell us that they have a wonderful video that shows how you're supposed to wash your hands. And for the little children, I think they even have a jingle with it. So
Yeah.
the site is wonderful. And I think by far the most comprehensive site that I have researched. And I do keep looking things up, you know, to be able to take them to the school.
Can I add something?
Absolutely, sir.
This was a point I wanted to make.
Yes, sir.
Don't take WhatsApp and what people say. Go on CDC site or WHO site.
Right.
You know, in Nagpur, they opened up gardens and 30 fellows started this so-called exercise where, you know, keep laughing to your heart. Like, so the whole area vibrated, everybody laughing to the best of their strength. And when I went and, you know, I had my mask, I told him, I'm Dr. Devpujari, please listen. Couple of, you know, Dr. Saab, nothing is going to happen this way, but they would have spoiled the whole garden. This laughter club could be one of the deadliest things that can happen. You know, when droplets go like this, and when you laugh aloud, you don't even talk aloud. We are the most loudest people across the world. Really, and I don't know why people don't understand this. You know, so these are small things, and go on a CDC or WHO and believe what they say. Everybody will have stories to say. A lot of people will say sari mask is also good enough. So sari ka pallu is covering your face, and that pallu is going anywhere and all over. So whatever science tells you, don't even believe me, because, you know, I'm not saying myself. Go on a CDC site and see what is there. Very clearly shown. No ambiguity to the left. And I think one will have to be very, very, very serious, because we are in serious trouble if we don't really follow these things.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you,
And
sir.
just check the content of the sanitizer. Then now there are many sanitizers with without alcohol. It's just funny. Then they say that no, this is Ayurvedic sanitizer and this, you know, and so don't go on that. See the content, read the content, and use it.
What should be the alcohol content in a sanitizer, sir, ideally?
70% minimum.
Sir?
Minimum 70%.
Okay.
70. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, my next question to Dr. Thole would be, see, if COVID-19 is caused by a virus and antibiotics, they say, do not work against viruses, then why are antibiotics being used in the treatment? We even read in the papers that we are exporting hydroxychloroquine. I mean, if I've got my pronunciation correct. I didn't bother to go with the other antibiotics because they were tongue twisters. This I found the simplest to pronounce. So why is that
No,
being used?
You can go with the short form HCQ. That's easier to pronounce.
Right.
See, HCQ, basically there is no drug right now which is been said yes, this can cure or treat COVID. So everything is in experimental stage right now. And antibiotics are usually supplementary. If they are suspecting a bacterial infection, which is likely because the person already has a viral infection, it is likely. So they may add, but that is only if they feel the need to do it. And HCQ is more of an immunomodulator. So right now, no drug means there is proof that any drug can cure or prevent COVID. Everything is right now in experimental stage. That's why you may see today they are talking about one drug, tomorrow they are talking about another drug. So it's a new disease. We have to understand this, and it will take some time for things to settle down.
Right, sir. Right. I come to food. Right. You, when Corona was in the initial stages, say April, there was a big thing happening that it spreads if you eat non-vegetarian food. So stay off eggs, chicken, meat, fish. And we even saw on television, some place, I don't remember where they buried live hens because they were not getting price in the market. And even people giving away broiler chickens कि चलो पैसे तो मिल ही नहीं रहे हमें goodwill ही मिल जाए. So what is this myth around food? ऐसा खाओ वैसा मत खाओ ये खाओ.
Viruses actually won't multiply in food. They need a human or an animal host for multiplying. So that is out of the question, highly unlikely. And basically, right now, what information we have that it is a respiratory illness and it is getting transmitted through droplet. So we need not get panicked over the food. And if it is a properly cooked food, which we usually do in an Indian scenario, so less likely. Regarding the packets that come when you get you order something from outside, okay, and you can see that whichever area you are keeping it in, you clean it later on, and you do the intake of the food, and that's all.
Right.
The food itself is not been proven yet.
Right, sir. Another thing which one is hearing about is immunity. Build up your immunity. Doodh, haldi, pepper, kadha, ginger, garlic, and whatnot, sir. Sir, what is the best way? Can you build up your immunity like this? Is my question.
Yeah, these things may help you in building your immunity, but what is important to note is they are not going to cure or prevent you from getting COVID. So don't go only on these things. The other things are equally important. These things are beneficial for general health, no doubt about it, and it has been used for many years.
Yes.
But the best thing to do is to maintain a balanced diet, have a proper sleep, exercise regularly, and stay well hydrated. And follow the precautions that the government and all the authorities are telling you. Keep distance, don't get out. This is what is more important.
Yes, so more than doodh haldi, I think social distancing, wearing a mask when you step out of the house, using soap and water as often as you can to wash your hands. When you come in from outside, what we were told as children, कि पहले हाथ मुंह धो और फिर घर में आओ.
Yes.
Then touch things around, isn't it?
Actually, we as Indians need quick fixes. We need something which will work faster. So doing this daily routines in and out is a little difficult for us.
Yes, yes. Just one more question to you, Dr. Thole. The other day I met someone who told me that I have taken a pneumonia and a flu vaccine. So I am protected. I will not get corona because both pneumonia and flu affect the respiratory system to some extent. So I am immune. I mean, I didn't know how to react because I don't know.
These vaccines don't provide any protection against COVID. Of course, they are recommended in the routine general thing, and even for children as well as for adults. Flu vaccine is the one which is taken every year. The strain changes every year. And pneumococcal vaccine can also be taken by people who are susceptible to it. But right now, there is no vaccine against COVID, and these vaccines are not going to provide you any immunity against COVID. I think the sir can add, or
Can I add
more.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Please. Go ahead.
Pneumococcal vaccine is it's a bacterial vaccine. Okay, so it needs to be taken by elderly and certain disease, those who have underlying disease. It prevents you from a bacterial infection, nothing to do with virus. And as I was telling you, flu, the common flu, that vaccine, that is available and it changes every year. And again, those who with comorbidities and healthcare workers who are more exposed, they should be taking it. But coronavirus, the SARS coronavirus 2 is a novel virus. So we don't have a vaccine. Every day you'll see in the TV, they're trying to come up with a vaccine candidate. So what we need desperately is a vaccine, but we don't have any at present. And those two, they do not help in coronavirus.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much.
One point can I make?
Yeah,
Yes,
sir
sir,
wants to.
please.
Sir.
As was rightly said by Dr. Jaya, that these two have no role, but they are now recommended above 60 years of age in most patients. And because they are, both of these have a predominant respiratory involvement, it would be even otherwise it was recommended. See, most often vaccines means child. एक इक्वेशन था कि वैक्सीन तो बच्चों को दिया जाता है, right? But you must talk to a doctor. There are a lot of vaccines for adults, and they are important. They are not for COVID, okay, but they are important, and I think they should be taken. It does not mean you take this vaccine and you feel COVID is not going to happen. That's not true.
No, I strongly support that.
Yeah.
Pneumococcal vaccine should be taken by all elderly, and there's a specific group of people who should, with comorbidities, who should have it, and even in influenza. That is, but it's not going to protect you against COVID-19.
Right. So, I mean, as a general this thing, and as you said, for people above 60, it is prevention, isn't it? You need not go in and wait to get that disease and then go in for a cure, isn't it? It's to prevent. Well. Thank you so much, Dr. Thole and Jaya ma'am also. I now come to Dr. Dev Pujari. Sir, you are a very, very renowned pediatrician. And the questions that I'm going to ask you now, I'm sure all our parents are waiting to get responses to those. Sir, in the current situation, we've all been catapulted into online classes. You know, the risk-reward ratio is such that we need to go in for some active screen time. How can parents reduce their ward's passive screen time?
Right. So it's a very good question, and you'll be surprised as to why this is important even before COVID. If you have the latest iPhone with the latest operating system, one of the major things came up in iPhone was screen time. This is for last 2 years. So this was considered important. Now, the question is, at this moment, when if we're imparting education using this screen time, there was certain allowable screen time, there's no question. But the question is, what you're using the screen for? Okay, that is more important. So it's not that you just don't see TV or you just don't see iPad or some of the good, I mean, a lot of precautions have been taken care of. So having said that, I'm not saying you see the whole thing for about 18 hours. There's an allowable screen time. Utilize it now more for education than for some other purpose. Again, the technical fellows are very smart. There could be a lock on a screen time. If you go on a system preferences, you could even define, you say define all this is not available for below 18 years of age, or TikTok is not available for any age now, now that we have banned it, right? So every of these will have an age specific recommendation. But we have never really seriously seen those, but they are there. So they should be actively placed. And, at this moment, for some time more, maybe my guess is at least a year, education is going to be mostly online. And, I'm in a way, if you look overall trend of education, like for example, in US, medical and dental education is 80% online, 80. Even in now newer recommendations of MCI, online teaching is becoming more and more important. Now, the other day we were discussing, COVID is a catalyst.
Yes.
Certainly increase this spurt of use of screen time.
Yes.
But I'm for it. I'm not saying there's anything drastically wrong. Of course, as is true of everything, will have to be monitored as to what the child is saying and how long. That will have to be done. But it's not that there are parents. I mean, there are parents who we are seeing 3 साल तक इसको स्क्रीन दिखाना नहीं मीन्स ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स ने फैमिली में किसी ने स्क्रीन नहीं देखना ऐसे पेरेंट्स है. Now this is an obsession.
Yes.
Okay. This is an obsession. So I don't think we should, jiggle away to that extent that you straightway about this point. But as is true of everything, we'll have to utilize this screen time for learning and education purpose. So you can define. So there's no problem. It should be used. You should be careful. Get the eyes examined more frequently. If the child is complaining of headache, you should be careful and you should have a review. Use a larger screen for this. All these things. Also, even the sound, audio is to be. That even it's not just vision. Sometimes you keep the whole thing very loud and keep everything very close to you. If you have some visual problem, you're keeping your eyes very close, and your audio is sometimes could be hurting you.
Right.
So if all these are there, like there are apps, inbuilt apps to monitor your audio level.
Yes.
And then this is true of most of the phones. We don't look into them. So it can give you a graph. It's a large 24s, you have been exposed to too much of sound, so take care.
Right.
It happens in pediatric OPDs sometimes. So the fellows have been crying so loud, it tells me you are in red zone, doctor, take care.
Right,
Okay.
sir.
So,
Right.
there
So
will be
yes,
careful
screen
monitoring.
time is inevitable. What
Absolutely.
parents need to do is to monitor
Yeah.
what the children watch and how they do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, sir. Sir, I'm very, very hopeful, and I believe that schools will start. Now, when? We don't know, but they will. And when they do, what are the precautions that parents need to take and the school also needs to take once schools start?
See, suppose if I would be on your committee, where I find issues are, and we always felt when a child goes to school, infections increase. They are crowding Indians like. They may be doctors. There's no necessity for me to have 100 patients sitting in my OPD. Really not. If I can really organize them. Okay. Same way schools can. There are spots like the moment school starts at 7 o'clock. The hot spot is your main gate. Right. That's where everybody is crowding. Okay. Now, you'll have to design something. The gate is more wider. You could design the time so that there could be batches. Like for example, when now you enter into the flight from 0 to 12, and from 12 to 40, and so numbers will be allocated like this. So you avoid crowding, which is going to be the major thing.
Right.
Second, till such time, I think we should not stop online teaching. I would prefer that a child in this present time should play in this school and study in the house. Should be a very good equation. Okay, because when they go and play in the house, the most important fellows who are relieved are the parents. But I know parents very much. Doctor, now we are both working, and these fellows are there on our head for 6 hours. So when they go to the school, it's a relief to parents also. So maybe 3 hours of school and then 3 years of schooling. 2 hours could be sports, again properly taken care of. 1 hour could be some essential teaching where you need human to human interaction or personal. Some child hasn't understood certain problem, he could come to you and ask you. So when they go to school, so 6 hours of schooling could be reduced to 3 hours of schooling, could be in 2 shifts. Right. So say 9 to 3 hours, and then there's a break of 1 hour, and then from 1 to 4 o'clock. Okay, and they could be shifted every month. So something like this. So reduce the school time in a sense for a particular group. Total school time remains same.
Right.
Concentrate more on physical activity and interpersonal relationships and humanities, and because they are going to be lacking.
Yes.
As pediatrician, and because I see some of the who's who here, I know these fellows have not gone out of the house for last few months. And they are very clear, no, Satish, we are not going to send them to school. But they are going to be having obsessive compulsive disorder. If you keep someone in the house, okay, all of us would land up with OCD.
Right.
Okay, so I think this has to be balanced again. with all due precautions, some intelligent changes and giving preferences. Like, I would prefer a child to be going to school more for play and be in the house. They develop a relationship between teacher and student. So
Yes.
when he's seeing her on the laptop and he has never met her, that personal relationship is lost. So the emphasis could be personal relationship, should be interpersonal relationship, could be physical activities, and some bit of important distant learning where the teacher is there and she is teaching some important things. This could be the home-based program.
Right, sir.
Some such AI developed system, AI is always everywhere now,
Yes.
could be useful. And I think that should be done.
Right, sir. So you are talking about staggering the timings,
Yeah.
reducing the timings, identifying hotspots
Yeah.
where crowding happens.
Right.
So we should make efforts to decrowd or decongest those areas, and children come to school to do what they cannot do at home.
Absolutely. You have summarized it very well. Health education, school is the best place I've seen. So if you tell the child, see, Mukul, everyone in your house must be wearing a mask. And this fellow tells the grandfather, no, 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 you have to wear a mask. He will not be able to reply the other way around.
Absolutely.
So a lot of that education can come from school.
Mhm.
And we had a program, a charity program some years back. We realized that the best person who can discipline school or the home environment is a child.
Right, right.
So a lot of those things can be transmitted to the
So
child.
I think it's the children, the onus will now be on the children to take this message home. Wonderful. Dr. Dev Pujari, one last question. How can we motivate our students to take all these precautions seriously? हो ये रहा है कि हर जगह से यही सुन रहे हैं बच्चे, हाथ धो, मास्क लगाओ. Maybe they are not taking it seriously, some of them. How can we motivate them to take it seriously?
This is a very good question. You can never motivate anyone, but show them what is right.
Right.
If I run a TV which shows हाथ धोना जरूरी है, right, मास्क पहनना जरूरी है, and मैं खुद 11 बजे उठता हूँ, हाथ वगैरह कुछ नहीं देता हूँ, मास्क नहीं पहनता हूँ, तो child will never get motivated.
Right.
So there has to be someone who would be an ideal frame for this child. Otherwise, everything will fail. That is one very important thing. Second, and you are a teacher, no one else can be better in that position. But the worst thing that you can do to a child is to get angry on him. Okay, especially adolescents. By the time you tell them no, they have already gone so physical that sometime they will hold your hand, Papa, rehne do, I know what to do, and you will not be able to take that hand out. So it has to be with love and affection. And repeatedly, as much as is possible, he will listen. But once, and this other age group, which is very difficult, we call that as an age of terrorism, he is between 3 to 5 years of age. These fellows are negativistic. आप उसको बोलो बैठने को बोलो तो खड़ा रहेगा. You must have seen this. There's a family gathering, lot of good friends. हमारा grandson बहुत अच्छा है. आप बैठो तो बेटा वो बैठेगा ही नहीं उस time. Right, and then everybody इसको after that family meeting इसको जब भी बोले बैठा तो बैठता नहीं. Right. These are two age groups which are difficult. So the only way is love as is, because he's also under stress. What we don't realize is
Yes.
now we are realizing that a lot of problems were essentially childhood anxieties are increasing because he is seeing everybody wearing a mask. He's saying the father is going outside, father is in police, he goes out. Mother is worried, that worry can be seen on her face to the child.
Yes.
So he knows कि सब कुछ सही नहीं है. Okay, so don't इसको क्या समझेगा? It's a common mistake. If I tell, no, he could be anxious. अरे सर 6 साल का तो लड़का है, क्या समझने वाला है? That is not correct.
Right, sir. Right.
So everybody is anxious. Now he doesn't want to. He is not allowed to go out. And who else will like to play out other than the child? So all these things matter. and one have to be careful that, like, this is mostly, so you'll have to be with him, more love and affection, more one-to-one touch and contact is the
Yes.
most needed thing now. Because once a child comes out of, say, 1 year of such a thing, I'm afraid of what his behavior would be. Like, the moment lockdown is open, everybody is out.
Yes.
So this child, the moment lockdown is open, the fellow is out doing everything.
Hmm.
इसे अभी तक 1 साल में लोग घर में बैठा करेगा, अभी मैं देखता हूँ क्या करता
जी,
है. Okay. So these are things which are likely to happen, and I think we'll have to compensate these in various ways.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. A lot of insight you have given us. There's a question here from the audience, which I think Jaya ma'am would be the right person to answer. Spandan Patil is asking that there are some people who don't show any symptoms, and yet they are said to have corona or said to be affected by corona. So what is this, ma'am? If you could explain it to us.
So as a virus, like in 80% of people, coronavirus will just cause a very mild disease, and some do not, around 50% that don't have any symptoms at all, especially the young ones. But you're still infected. You can infect the other people. That has to be remembered. So you don't need any medicine. You just have to bear it out till you in UP you have to test negative, but in your state you don't have to test negative. But there's a whole spectrum of illness this person can present with. Some with no symptoms, some with very mild symptoms, but we are not bothered about them. The main is the 20% who have moderate disease and the 5% who have very severe disease, and those are the persons who will have difficulty. So you can have any spectrum of disease.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, would you please give us a quick rundown on the symptoms? Because just the other day I saw on the news that there are now more symptoms. If you have a stomach upset, if you are feeling nauseous, if you have a headache, even those could be symptoms.
So like fever is one of the commonest symptoms. Okay, fever is one of the commonest symptoms. If you have fever, think about this. A severe malaise is in this belt they'll say कि बहुत कमजोरी हो रही है, बहुत कमजोरी हो रही है. So that malaise, fatigue. Then of course you can have diarrhea, but the typical ones are cough, sore throat, and if you're having usually at day 5 to day 7, then you start having shortness of breath. And at times you will have a patient who comes to you with COVID positive report, and the respiratory rate, that means the number of times you're breathing is not high, but you just put a pulse oximeter, so and the patient is hypoxic. That is called silent hypoxemia. So it's a very dangerous that way. You might think you're not having severe disease, but when we test you, you are moderate to severe disease, and you're more liable to get severe disease. So for normal people, fever, cough, sore throat, even runny nose, diarrhea, severe malaise or fatigue, that should be, you should be very, very cautious of any of these, and then you should get yourself tested, especially if you are in a high risk zone, red zone, orange zone, where there's a lot of transmission going on.
Right, right. So these are the red flags that we should
Yes.
look out for. And ma'am, does age have anything to do with it? Because older people, yes?
Yes, definitely. Older people do worse than the younger ones. The younger ones don't have much. In fact, some of our resident doctors quite young, they've got it. They don't have anything, and they're quite questioning, why am I inside? We don't have anything. So younger people may not have any symptoms. Older ones, grandparents are the ones we should really be bothered about. The people with diabetes, people who are very obese, people who are other comorbidities, but diabetes is one very, very important comorbidities. They are not doing very well. So yes, age is very important. You want to keep your grandfathers and grandmothers safe, stay home, wear mask, and do hand hygiene.
Absolutely. Ma'am, after someone has recovered from corona and gone back to the family, the other day I read in the newspapers that there's a hospital in Hyderabad where they have patients who have recovered, but the families are not ready to take them back. They're scared.
Yeah, the scare is there everywhere, but just an important message I would like to tell this audience. They have not cultured the virus beyond day 9. Okay. So after that, even if your tests are positive, you test by a method called PCR. I don't want to go very technical. The
Right.
test may be positive, but that virus is not alive. Okay. So whatever studies has been done till date, it has been seen that the virus is transmissible at least 2 to 3 days before and around 9 days after illness. So beyond that, it is just your ignorance, and if somebody is not taking you back, it is just their ignorance, and it does not transmit after that. Actually, no.
Right. So we just need to spread more awareness about
Yeah.
this
But
issue.
I just want to add one thing. There's still a lot of things unknown about this virus. So just to be on the safer side, even if you have been let out after 14 days, just keep yourself alone for 7 more days. Here in UP, we do that. Even if we discharge that patient after day 12 or day 14 of illness, we just let them be 7 days home quarantined. So that just to be on the safer side. Because we are not doing any studies over here. We are just managing this whole.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes, Dr.
it's not,
Devuja.
it's not only the patients are boycotted, even the doctors are. Believe me, lot of our friends refuse to meet us.
Really?
Yeah, this is happening.
I think we shouldn't be meeting, sir,
Yeah,
nowadays.
we
This
should.
is not the time to meet and greet,
Yeah,
but
but
time
what
to
I'm
be
saying is,
alone.
just telling you how things are changing is that, if you're, but it should be other way around, that the patients could give us infection also, which is as much as true.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah, so that is the reality.
Very, very true. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Would Dr. Tole like to add something to that before I conclude, sir?
Yeah, just need to tell that we have seen more bad times than what we are seeing in COVID. So we need to take this in our stride. We are going to come out of it. It is going to take some time. It's a new disease, but we need not worry so much. We need to take the proper precautions, and we'll definitely come out of it. So what is more important is the take-home message that uh, इतना इसके बारे में डरने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला. So we need to take precautions. We need to do the things properly, and we are going to come out of it. And we need to remember what as ma'am said, that 80 to 90% people will have nothing, will have no symptoms, or will have very mild symptoms, and they'll be okay because of it. And we need to know that even the people dying because of it is very less. It's only 2 to 3%. So don't get frightened. Wash your hands, keep distance, and follow the precautions.
Right, right. Thank you. This has really, really been so insightful, and I'm sure the audience is so much more at peace. Corona has definitely created challenging situations, and that have been much beyond our imagination. For the Corona warriors like you doctors, the nurses, the policemen, and so many more, the challenges and risks have been multiplied. You know what, our students, the students of DPS Varanasi, Nashik and Lava have acknowledged and emphasized the value of the doctors and the other Corona warriors, and they've offered respect and gratitude in a very, very inimitable way. They've used art as their chosen medium. What I request our distinguished panelists to do is to click on a link that is displayed at the bottom of their screens. And if they do so, you will be able to inaugurate this virtual art exhibition that is titled A Tribute to the Corona Warriors. So if you could see that link and click on it, and there it is. Ma'am will take us, Aarti will take us on a virtual tour of this exhibition. Aarti, will you move on? It is something that is a collaborative effort of our 3 schools, and all the 3 schools, the children right from grades 12 down to the pre-nursery, the nursery, the kindergarten children have all contributed to this very, very enthusiastically. And I request our distinguished guests, as well as the audience who is there a part of it, to please enjoy, see, appreciate. Children have written messages. It's not just a poster, it's not just a slogan, but they have messages written there. And each of these goes out to say thank you. It will be wonderful if you share the link in your personal and professional domains so that this gratitude, this sense of, acknowledging it, the work that is being done by the Corona warriors spreads and goes to each of the Corona warriors through you. That will be really, really wonderful. Aarti ma'am will also put the link in the chat box for all our audience. If you see, this is grade 5, grade 3, it tells you of their perceptions, how they are perceiving the whole situation at home. Hats off, really. You are the greatest heroes in this story. This is our kindergarten students from the 3 schools. For them, I mean, there's no way you can even explain to them what is happening and why. I request you to please share this on your personal and professional domains so that it goes out to your fellow doctors from our students at DPS Varanasi, Nashik, and Lava.
Please make a small link with some bit of introduction of the project, then we'll split it across. Such a wonderful job they have done.
Absolutely, sir. So we have your email IDs. We will share the link with you with a small write-up of
Exactly.
the project that is there.
Yeah. So some images so that they immediately are caught up with whatever is shown there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, sir. Even you can see the posters at leisure and the, more than the artwork, I think it's the feelings and the expression that those feelings have been given that really, really matter. Thank you, Aarti. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Jaya Chakravarti, Dr. Dev Pujari, and Dr. Thole for giving us so much time and answering all our questions so very patiently. I thank the audience for their enthusiastic participation and also the tech teams of the 3 schools for making this webinar happen. I thank the management of Delhi Public School, Varanasi, Nashik, and Lavanakpur for taking this initiative and creating a platform like Breaking Barriers. And I also would like to thank the 3 doctors personally, because in my one-to-one conversation with them, they have guided me to frame my questions in such a manner that everybody has something to take away from this webinar. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure having you here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.